Shukri, I haven't seen everyone get to the team, haven't arrived yet, but the fitness state, everyone is fit and ready to play?
Yeah, well, everybody arrived earlier this morning, so by all accounts, yeah, fit and ready. Obviously, a unique set of circumstances in the middle of a T20 league that we're getting
Also
together.
good thing.
Yeah, good thing in terms of form coming into it, and yeah, but it's just something we've obviously got to manage in terms of where guys are at. So if you don't see anybody at the nets today, it's not because we don't want to practice. It's really because we need to manage players as well.
The guys with the form will get the.
Yeah, look, I mean, if you were a selector, did you not bear that in mind? So yeah, I'm sure we'd take that into account as well.
Shukes, also probably a positive that the squad of players you've got for the series is it's an established squad, and going forward, there's no real new faces or anything like that. Yeah, they haven't done too well in the past, but new chapter, but settled squad for you. Yeah,
very much settled squad. Rob and the national selectors obviously put the squad together. The good thing, as you rightly mentioned, it is a very settled group. They fully understand where we're at in terms of what's required in this series. So we certainly won't be spending too much energy explaining the importance of the series. And yeah, the energies are really good. Having chatted with the guys as they got in today. So yeah, we're all ready to go on Friday.
And sorry, just lastly from me, it's been a long road for you in SA cricket and coaching it, and you finally made it to the helm. Must be a good feeling to be able to achieve it.
Yeah, look, I must be honest, there were times when I never thought it would come to fruition. But thankfully, and it's all about timing. I think I'm probably as well prepared now as I ever would have been. If this had happened a few years ago, there probably would have still been a few areas of concern, if you want, for want of a better word. But I think I'm really well prepared for this, yes.
When you talk about the importance of this series, we know with that looming qualifications just how important it is, but can you put that into words and how you actually manage going into a series like that, knowing that there is this big picture behind it?
Yeah, so look, both mine and Rob's, let's call it philosophy, is quite a simple one, that we really want to invest all our energies into the process of playing really good cricket. We want out of this week for guys to identify when a key moment is and what option to take, and hopefully that is an aggressive option, and that goes a long way in ensuring us winning the game. We're certainly not going to be burdening guys with the win. We have to. I think everybody's well aware of that. So yeah, the focus really is about playing really good cricket. We know that England's a top one-day side. Well, they are the world champions in both formats. And if we can do that against the top side in the world, it will go a long way in setting us up for the rest of Rob's tenure as well as the white ball coach.
Thanks. Dean?
Yeah, just touching on England's position as double world champions, first time a men's team has achieved that. What does that motivation does that give to the opposition when you see that kind of target on their back? Is it a good place to be, or are you kind of wary of the quality that England bring?
Yeah, you're obviously aware of that and they're respectful of that. I'd like for us to still see us play as a top cricketing side as well. Our position in the one day or in the World Series doesn't necessarily suggest that, but I'd still like us to have the belief that top teams play a certain way, and we've got to come out on Friday night and deliver that. I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. I want to challenge, I want to be up against the best sides in the world and get a pretty good idea of where we act as a side.
For English supporters and fans watching this team that haven't been able to watch Jofra Archer for quite some time, he's now back in the side against your team. What's your view of his return, and how much of an impact do you suspect that he could have, having been away for so long?
Jofra Archer's a world-class player. Saw a little bit of him in the league now. I'm from Cape Town, so I spent a bit of time supporting my Cape Town, if I'm allowed to say that. So, yeah, and again, you want to be tested against the best in the world, and Jofra is right up there. I think the self-same fans might not have seen a lot of Kagiso Rabada and Ulrich Nokia in the recent past, so I'm sure they'll be in for a good treat.
Great. I think we'll look to take a couple from online. We'll start with Firdous, Talford, then Ken.
Thanks. How's it, Shooks? Can I just get a
Yeah, hi Fidos. Look, we get together officially for the first time tonight as a group, where we'll obviously speak around some of these potential pitfalls where the guys have been at in the last couple of weeks. Look, a top rugby coach that sat as a South African rugby coach many years ago got fired because he spoke about ticket prices. That really is above my pay grade, and certainly not something that we're going to concern ourselves about. We do know that the guys would obviously want everybody in Bloemfontein to come out and support us. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, Bloemfontein hasn't had much cricket, and I'm pretty confident that the people of Bloemfontein and the surrounds will turn out in their droves to watch a South African side that they haven't seen play in a long while.
Thanks, Fidos. Telford?
I can hear you, Telford.
Really good. Just also with the SA20, it's been such a raving and roaring success. I don't know, are you under pressure to highlight and base? You know, that international cricket is still the best thing in the world. Do you feel a bit under pressure? Do you think the team does from what's going on in the SA20?
Yeah, look, obviously, international cricket is always about pressure. And I sit here as if I speak from experience in my first gig. But look, just briefly chatting with some of the guys, it's quite clear that representing your country is still the pinnacle of it, both in white ball and test cricket. So whether we're under pressure to compete, I don't think we're competing with the T20 league. I'd like to see the league as an ally, because the one thing I have seen of late is that people in South Africa are still very much in love with cricket. And obviously, as Johan remarked earlier, we're obviously looking at the form and use some collateral form lines with guys in that T20 league and going into Friday. So I certainly don't see it as a pressure with regards to the league. I think the only pressures there are is playing really good cricket against a top side like England.
Thanks, Telford. Ken?
Unmute yourself, Ken.
Yeah, Ken, you're not
Stand up, Ken.
unmuted.
Obviously,
Yeah, we can hear you, Ken.
okay. Obviously, you've been on the outside looking in a bit for the Proteas. Have there been other things in the ODI game that you've identified as needing some attention for the series, even though you're just there in a stand-in capacity?
Look, there obviously must be some concerns, or else we wouldn't find ourselves with the possibility of qualifiers looming. So I think on the batting side of things, it's just identifying and committing to the type of cricket we want to play. And we certainly don't necessarily want to be mimicking the best side in the world, i.e. England. And similarly, our bowling strength is right up there. It's identifying key moments in the game, which approach we need to take, what is the right option, and then committing to that and wanting to win all those big moments. And as long as we can create that culture of learning, but also taking the aggressive option, that will go a long way to getting success for us. A big thing for me is also being able to assess what the conditions are like. So you can't come in with a one-size-fits-all approach. Obviously, the conditions will go a long way to determining how we actually play, Ken.
Thanks, Ken. We're going to go Percival, then Stu.
Shukri, baie geluk aan Percival. Ja, jy meneer jarenlang. Shukri, kan jy check die wens last time you spoke in Afrikaans in 'n press conference?
Het was 'n lang tyd, Percy, en ek dink die laaste keer toe ons gepraat het, was dit nie 'n baie goeie gesels nie, maar maar ek was I beg your pardon?
Can you ask a question of Afrikaans?
Yeah, no, my Afrikaans is good. My Afrikaans is good. Obviously, with respect to the English component in the room, I'll answer in English if that's all right.
I would like you to answer in Afrikaans.
You'd like me to answer in Afrikaans? Right, Percy. Right, Percy. Carry on. Ja, ek staan in vir Rob, maar soos jy nou wel weet, vra jy nou vir my die vraag, nie vir Rob nie. So ek is nou wel die interim coach, maar soos dit nou staan, is ek die coach. Dis 'n groot week vir ons. Dis 'n groot week vir Suid-Afrikaanse cricket en vir die Proteas eendagspan. So die druk is natuurlik daar en alles wat hierdie week gebeur is nou nie Rob se skuld of wat ook al nie. Ek is in beheer van die span vir die week. Ek werk natuurlik baie goed met Rob saam. Ons hou elke dag 'n klein vergaderingkie. So dis sal ons maar sê 'n joint venture vir as ons nou nie 'n beter Afrikaans woord kan gebruik nie.
Great, thanks Percival. We're going to go Stu, then Mubin, then Firdous, and then if there's any last questions in the room, we'll look to wrap up the press conference. Go ahead, Stu.
Cheers, Lucy. Hi, Shukri. This is a high-pressure series. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah?
Yeah, this is a high-pressure series, and the Proteas don't do well with pressure.
Is that a statement or a question?
Well, I'm going to get to the question now.
Okay.
How would you go about, in a very short space of time, trying to kind of get the players out of this difficult mindset of this, the mud that they're stuck in when it comes to dealing with pressure?
Yeah, so look, as any coach would tell you, and it's not a cliche that just rolls off the tongue comfortably, it's really about the process we need to be following. We cannot focus all our energies on this week only. There's a reason why we are where we are. But even if the position was different, it would still be a high-pressured series. Every international match where you represent all of the country is high pressure in itself. So we're certainly not going to be focusing on what the potential outcomes will be if we don't get over the line in this series. But it's all about, as I mentioned earlier, Stuart, really focusing on those key moments in the game, identifying it, and then being able to take the right option, and hopefully that's quite an aggressive option.
Thanks, Stu. Mubin?
I'm Shukri. Just to follow up on Stu, I should know is what will be the objectives for the series? Obviously, because it's a very short series, and you've only taken over now. You shape up tonight, obviously. So, what will be the sort of objectives for the series in a short space of time here?
It feels like there's an echo in the room. It's like the same question. To play really good cricket, to win every key moment, and win 3-0 at the end of it. And that might be a nice throwaway line for you, but at the end of the day, if we can play really good cricket and we can start building on how we know we can play, and not be paralyzed by the situation we find ourselves in, I think that will go a long way. I know Rob shares similar views, and obviously when he does land and when he officially takes over, I think we can confidently hand over a very confident one-day side.
Thanks, Firdous. Firdous? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, there was a delay. Shuk said Devon Brevis is not in the squad, and there's been a lot of talk about him, and obviously you oversaw his under-19 career. Like, how close do you think he is, and do you reckon he'll add something eventually, one day?
As I mentioned right at the beginning, for those, Rob and the national selector selected the side. Dewald is obviously a massive talent, but then again, I could possibly bandy another 5 or 6 similar talents around. How we go forward from here, that is entirely in Rob and the selector's hands. There'll obviously be lots of conversations, but it would be foolhardy of us to ignore any of our bright young talents in the country. And I'm sure they'll be assimilated into the side when the time's right and when the opportunity presents itself.
Thanks, Firdous. We're going to take one more online, Shloni, and then if there's anyone else in the room, then we'll wrap up.
Thanks, Lucy. Coach, Shloni Mkula from ENTA. At the announcement last week, there was a lot of talk from the CEO and the DOC about you and the actual ODI coach working together and kind of building some sort of synergy.
Yeah, there has been lots of conversation, and look, just at the outset I need to make it very clear, Rob and I have a fabulous relationship, we always have had. We share similar ideals on the game, and we in conversation literally every day in terms of where we feel the team's at, what we need to be looking out for. Obviously I'm on the ground here, and he's 11 hours ahead of me, so I'm being entrusted to look after selection. I've been entrusted to really take matters or look after matters. This is my series now, but obviously in constant conversation with Rob. We share similar ideals, and again, if one looks at the red ball and white ball components, I think the two have grown closer together. If you look at how the formats have been played, so there's a lot of synergy between Rob and I, and the sharing of ideas. So yeah, a really good fit for South African cricket, and Rob obviously having quite a few years on me in terms of youth. I think he brings that youthful energies as well, which is great. And yeah, there's been a really good sharing of ideas that happens every single day.
Great. Any from the floor? One last one.
Shuks, Enoch made mention that there is a prospect of possibly bringing in a mental coach or a team psychologist. How much does that form part of your and Rob's plans taking the team forward? Because you mentioned now that they're going to start playing the way we know they can play.
Yes, and it's not because we want them to play the way we can play, hence the need for a mental conditioning coach. I prefer that. Both Rob and I feel strongly that it's someone we want on our staffs. And when I say staffs, Rob will have the different staffs. So yes, it's about finding that right person, and that person becomes a key member of the coaching staff. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can nail down whoever that person is, and then either he or she would then form part of the Protea, both Test and One Day side.